Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Jarbo. Welcome back to Podio Commentary. And today we're going to be talking about the recent Disney bomb, Wish. Disney's 100th animated movie, right? A culmination of, it's almost a century of Walt Disney animated projects came not with a bang, but with a big ass whimper. And here's the thing, the movie's solid. So I don't quite know what went wrong. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. I have a lot of thoughts about why it went wrong. And I'm going to talk about them right now, actually. But this movie is one, real quick, that you should watch. It's currently on digital. It will be on Disney Plus very soon. If you have kids or if you like Disney at all, you'll probably find yourself enjoying it. It's going to have a similar situation, quite like Elemental, where it had a very rocky start and then probably will develop a decent enough fan base down the road. Now, it's not going to be as profitable as Elemental because that actually went on to become profitable, theatrically at least. This one came out at just probably the wrong time with the wrong marketing, and people, I think, are just kind of like not really vibing on it because, again, the marketing was really, really bad. Also, this movie was written by Jennifer Lee. Now, Jennifer Lee is currently like the head of Walt Disney Animation. She's been there ever since John Lasseter was removed back in 2018, 2019, after the hugging incident, if you know anything about that. And I've always felt that like her writing was always relatively subpar. You know, she started off kind of helping out with like Wreck-It Ralph. She wrote Frozen, and Frozen 2. Beautifully animated, utterly soulless, and just like it's garbage. When I do the Podio commentaries on those, I try to be a positive fella. I really, really do. That will be painful because I won't be nice because of how bad those stories are. So when I heard that Jennifer Lee was working on this movie specifically, I was like, oh, great. Here we go again. It's going to be just bleh. Then I see the trailer, and the trailer was just like not interesting. It almost felt a bit like it was trying to be like a mishmash of everything while still heavily relying on almost like a Rapunzel or Tangled aesthetic, so to speak. And we know that Tangled and we know Frozen exist in the same universe. And it would be great if this existed in the same universe as well. It would fit right in, to be fair. It would fit right in. I'd be okay with that. And anything to get more Flynn Rider and Rapunzel, because I love that movie and I love those characters. But this one takes place on an island called Rosas in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. And this island is special because King Magnifico, which is also voiced by Chris Pine. It's very weird that his name is King Magnifico, voiced by Gringo Chris Pine. I just thought that was really funny. But he and his wife Amaya want to create a safe space. A safe place, if you will. And he is a magician. He's a sorcerer, and he has the ability to grant wishes. But the sacrifice people have to make to go to the island is that they have to give their wishes. They have to give them willingly. They forget about them as soon as they give them away. And then once a month, there's a lottery system in place to provide one lucky person with their wish being granted. It's a weird system, not going to lie. Interesting, but it's an interesting world, right? Like the rules of the world are like, you can come here, be safe. This is basically what it is we ask for. And then we're going to offer up people the opportunity to have their wishes granted. Like, okay, I can get behind that. Because there's always going to be a dark underbelly to that. There's always going to be a dark side to that. And I was curious what that dark side was, which we still really never find out why he is the way that he is, right? There's a hint of something. There's a flash of something. There's a tease of something, but there's no real payoff. And that's a Jennifer Lee problem. Look, I'm going to go back to Frozen for a hot second. Okay. Like it's the prince. Okay. The prince, Hans is his name. You know, we meet him in the beginning of the movie. Him and Anna have instant chemistry, instant connection. They want to get married. Elsa says no. That's what leads to the fight of freezing Arendelle, right? And then after that, Anna's like, look, I'm the only one who can go and save everybody, so I'm going to go take off. Prince Hans is like, all right, you go do that. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to lead these people. And you know what he does? He leads those people. Every other scene of him in that movie, he's leading those people until Anna needs him. And he's all like, F you, lady. No one ever loved you. Instant 180 makes no sense. Look, it's been 10 years since Frozen came out. Can you honestly go back to that scene in that movie and go, yeah, this is thematically, like this makes sense. Like this is kosher. Like nothing about that movie ultimately makes sense in regards to its plot. It really doesn't, and that's fine. Love trolls, really? Okay, we're gonna talk. I don't want to get into that right now. I'm not talking about Frozen, but I'm using it as a prime example of just Jennifer Lee doesn't understand conflict, at least, or like establishing enough of everything to have it all kind of flesh. It's like she can set up ideas without knocking them down. How about that, right? Like look at Frozen 2. Just they didn't even know what was calling to Elsa while they were making like the movie for the most part. From what I remember reading about it, they didn't even know what the voice was for like the longest time while they were in production. Like that goes to show you Jennifer Lee writing, not the greatest. But anyway, like here, okay, fine. So you've got Asha, 17-year-old Asha, not quite 18, hasn't given up her wish yet. We don't even know what her wish is. They also never tell us that in the movie either, by the way. So, but she's going to go and going to become the king's apprentice, right? She's got the interview. The queen is pulling for her. Her friends are pulling for her. By the way, all of her friends, complete allegories for the seven dwarves, which I thought I caught kind of like right off the bat. And I thought that was actually pretty cool because there's a lot of Easter eggs and references to like other Disney films. And I found myself throughout the course of the movie really enjoying the references and like really kind of like getting in the spirit of what the movie was, simply because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that kind of pandering. It brings out the inner kid in me. So like there's good moments there. And then you get some story beats that just don't make a lot of sense. Like anyway, but it's overall anyway. So like she goes up and she meets the king, and like they've got a good banter. They got a good rapport. They get into this song about like wishes and everything else. But it's this duet that makes you feel like this is not like a song of two people that are meeting and it's like a platonic thing. This song kind of feels like the king and Asha are going to like bump pelvises at some point down the road. Like they're going to fall in love, but then bad things are going to happen. Like this song is not something like I don't quite understand the music in this movie. Like a lot of the songs don't serve the story. Like one or two do. The one about the revolution towards the end, like the leading into the third act of the film, like dynamite. Like that song is dynamite. It's aces. I love it. But otherwise, a lot of the other tracks in the movie just simply don't make a lot of sense. They don't really serve the story. It's just kind of like whatever. And you're like, all right, fine. All right, fine. All right, fine. All right, fine. Whatever. It's a Disney movie. They need to sell toys. They need to sell CDs. We know how the game works, right? Look at Valentino, Asha's goat that talks, voiced by Alan Tudyk, complete plushie. Look at the star, the Wish Star. That's complete plushie. Something that's completely marketable by Disney, and children will eventually buy it, or Disney adults who don't have children, but still buy everything Disney puts out. But anyway, so like the king, she finds her grandfather's wish, the wish that she wants to have him granted on his 100th birthday. And the king looks at it and sees the wish, and the wish is he wants to play guitar and inspire people. And that sets the king off. He's like, well, what does he want? Does he want to inspire a revolution? And he frames it in this way to where it's like everything is going to put him on edge. So he's like super ultra mega paranoid, but we don't know why. But that's an interesting character development. Okay, so he's paranoid. So his power, it's egotistical, make no mistake, but he's not doing it necessarily out of malicious intent, right? Like I know that the movie is like meant to infer that idea that he's doing this with malicious intent. But again, the one instance we have about why he is afraid that we get no other backstory on was a burnt ass tapestry where he goes, that won't happen again. Unless I missed it, I don't know what that was. Right? Like, I don't know what that was. And I don't think anyone knows what that is. Unless I watched it with my kids like 3 times now. Still don't know what that is. So it's like, is it a deleted scene somewhere that we can actually find out what happened here? That'd be great. That would explain. That would give you context. That would give you story. That would give you motivation. It would give you a better background to just who this bad guy is and why he does what he does. Because obviously, like, you know, he tells Asha all these things. Okay, which I thought was kind of weird. And then he just like brings her down there and like tortures her by, you know, saying like, oh, she wanted me to try something different. Let's give it up to this one woman who wants to be a seamstress. And then he goes, but I'm going to refuse your apprenticeship application. But he told her that he only grants wishes that won't cause any harm to him, right? Or, well, really to like the idea, the essence of Rosas. Which kind of makes sense if you think about it. It does. Like, people are giving up their wish. He doesn't know what they are, apparently, what their intent is. So he's like, I'm going to find the most milquetoast, benign, banal wish that I can to keep people giving me their wishes for, again, whatever purpose. And then to keep them coming here and to keep me being king and everything else. It's just, there's a weird mix of motivation there. And then, of course, we see him kind of be a dick, but he still tells her everything. And then, like, doesn't expect her to go and tell anybody, right? Like, that part, again, doesn't make any sense. Like, why not wipe her memory so she has no memory of it whatsoever? Because she tries to tell her grandfather, and her grandfather's like, no, I can't know what my wish is. Like, fuck you. Yes, you can. You absolutely can know what your wish is. What are you talking about? So then she gets mad. She storms off and she wishes upon a star. And here comes a star. You know, and it gives Valentino the ability to talk, as well as a bunch of other woodland creatures, including a bear named John, which I took as a Robin Hood reference. You know what I mean? I that's kind of what I thought it was. I hope, at least. You know, and then from there, she's like got the wish, and they got to go and like free all the other wishes because she's got the star. That's what the star wants, like free the wishes. And in the process of this, the star, when it came down, created this massive blast, right? This huge light source, and everybody saw it. But Magnifico didn't do it. And now he's getting more paranoid and doesn't know what it is. Views it as an open threat, which, to be fair, it kind of is. And then everyone's looking to him like he did it, but he admits he didn't do it. And he wants people to find out who the traitor is. Now he's like getting into mob mentality. And that's usually the sign of someone who's deeply, deeply insecure. And that's where I really enjoyed the characterization of him from that perspective, because that perspective was fascinating. Asha just wants to, like, you know, say people's wishes, to give them the opportunity to seek it out on their own, to not give their power away, which is a great message. We shouldn't give our power away to the government for safety. It all ties back into the, you know, people who give freedom for security deserve neither. That saying is basically the essence of Rosas, right? You know, and so she, you know, gets her friends and they're all trying to sort it out. And she's trying to get up there, and the friends start questioning the king, and the king starts getting like real mad because people are questioning him and he's losing control. So as he's losing control, he goes to the forbidden magic book that like is a bad thing to have, but he has it anyway. Because keep in mind, he researched all of this magic to build Rosas, but he's got this real big tome of bad magic, forbidden magic, that ends up, you know, like being the downfall of him, because his paranoia and his fear causes him to go down this path where he's like, I'm just going to start taking power. And then he realizes, oh, if I take the wish, I'm going to gain more power and I can crush wishes. and I can I can remove that safety net from people. That's that sense of security, that sense of safety. I can destroy that. And I thought that was actually really cool because all these people gave him their dreams. They gave him their hopes, their desires for him to protect, for him to grant, to dole out while necessary, for their own security and safety. And then he can just start plucking them out and crushing them and then destroying like the self-worth and value of those people. And he starts trying to turn it on Asha, and people aren't really buying it necessarily. But that is until one of their friends, Simon, sleepy Simon, doesn't know why, doesn't remember what his wish is, but feels like he left something of himself behind. And everyone kind of gives him a little bit of guff over it, that he's just not the same since he turned 18 and gave away his wish. And because of that, he turns Asha in because he has that desire and he has his wish granted. And his wish is to become the most valiant knight to protect the king. So the king got lucky because not only does he get to turn on Asha and also rat out everybody else, but now he's got a knight who will fight for him to the death. And that's a cool development. That's giving him a sidekick or giving him like a champion, if you will. I thought that was pretty cool. But the whole time his wife is like, nah, dog, like this ain't cool. Like Amaya's like, I ain't vibing this. And she ends up joining in with like the revolution, so to speak, because she's seeing what's happening to her husband and they're hoping that it's going to be able to, like, he'll get out of it, right? But once you succumb to the darkness, there's no coming back, which is kind of weird for Disney to have an absolute on that front, to not be given the opportunity to walk away. Like, look at Gaston and Beauty of the Beast, right? Gaston could have not pursued, gone after the beast, could have listened to Belle and lived, but he didn't. His ego got the best of him. Jafar's ego got the best of him. Here's the same concept, but I feel like they should have had some path back that didn't quite cross the, like, I feel like the point of no return was crossed way too early, but in the process of him becoming powerful, he ends up like turning into like the magic mirror from Snow White, which was like, okay, right. He's like, mirror, mirror on the wall. That whole thing. All right. There's that, and so they defeat him. She becomes the fairy godmother, which I thought was kind of cool. Valentino heads off to go and start Zootopia, essentially. And they kind of wrap everything up in a nice, neat little bow, right? Queen Amaya becomes the, she starts taking over. Everyone gets their wishes back. Everyone gets the opportunity to pursue themselves, pursue their dreams. Now, without that safety net. And I think there would be a real big fallout with the people of Rosas, because they went there willfully. They gave their wish willfully. You would think, you would literally think that they would then, like, there would be some kind of like economic or societal collapse in the power vacuum of the king, who is a sorcerer and who protects them, now being relegated to basically a keychain, because that's where he ends up. So I thought I'm like, it's a Disney movie. It's always going to kind of wrap itself up in a nice, neat little bow. But I'm just like, there would be like a collapse here. There would be something, because again, if he was worried about something happening to Rosas that had happened previously to another place, which we don't know, then don't you think that would have potentially come true in the power vacuum to some extent? Again, I'm asking too much of a Disney movie, obviously. But, when I got done watching the movie the first time, I was the only one who finished watching it. My girlfriend had gone on to do other things. My kids relatively lost interest, but I was zeroed in. I was dialed in. I enjoyed this movie immensely. I enjoyed it a lot. And I really was like bummed that I'd kind of dogged on this film before it came out. Because I said, the marketing was bad. The marketing was bad. This movie had an estimated $200 million budget. And its worldwide box office totals as of now, January 30th, 2024, is $240.2 million. So this movie is not even making money. And then my question becomes, why is an animated movie costing $200 million? And that goes to show you Disney on the way that they run things right now. It's definitely like not having like a good run. We know Strange World came out last year. That crashed and burned. I think Disney putting everything on streaming right away hurt this movie. It definitely hurt Pixar. So them keeping Elemental in theaters longer over the course of the summer was able to build up momentum. And this movie is a byproduct of all of those things. But again, really the marketing was like the trailers were not good. You know, and if a trailer is not good, it can really kind of impact a lot of stuff. Like, to give you a quick idea, like in a couple weeks, Madam Web comes out from Sony. It's a, Spider-Man thing. Dakota Johnson probably was told that it was going to be a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie when she signed up. And when the trailer dropped and it was bad, she actually quit her agency and went to a different agency the next day. Right? So like things like that, bad marketing can have a real big ripple effect on everything. And the thing is, though, this is Disney. Disney is seen as like largely infallible. Like Disney is the entity that will always produce. It will always make money. It will always dominate. So what's happening in the last couple of years following John Lasseter's exit from the company, that has really caused this to kind of falter. Yes, you can make arguments about the pandemic, but as I mentioned at the beginning of this, Jennifer Lee taking over has had a lot of diminishing returns. The only real big movie that's come out of Walt Disney Animation in previous years has been Encanto. And even that bombed at the box office. It wasn't until Disney Plus that the movie blew the hell up. Anyway, what are your thoughts on Wish? Let me know. If you're listening to this on a podcast, please leave a review where you can. If you're listening to this on YouTube, you can leave a comment. Let me know what you want me to watch next. Follow me on social media over at Podio Commentary on Twitter. And if you have a movie you want to sponsor, let me know and I can talk about what you want me to see. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great night. Thanks again for listening and peace out.